Morphology of the flowering plant. The wide range in the structure of a hair plant will never fail to fascinate us even through the angiosperm shows such a large diversity in external structure or morphology. They are all characterized by the presence of roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. In chapter 2 and 3, we talk about classification of plant based on morphological and other characteristics. For any successful attempt at classification and at understanding any higher plant, or for that matter any living organism, we need to know standard technical terms and standard definition. We also need to know about the possible variation in different parts found as adaptation of the plants to their environment. Example, adaptation to various habitats for protection, climbing, storage, etc. If you pull out any weed, you will see that all of them have roots, stems, and leaves. They may be bearing flowers and fruits. The underground part of the flowering plant is the root system, while the portion above the ground from the shoot system. The root in majority of the flowering plant, the direct elongation of radicle led to the formation of a primary root which grow inside the soil. It bears lateral root of several orders that are referred to as secondary, tertiary, etc. roots. The primary root and its branches constitute the taproot system as seen in mustard plant. In monocotyledonous plant, the primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of roots. These roots originate from the base of the stem and constitute the fibrous root system as seen in wheat plant. In some plants like grasses, monsters, banyan tree, root arise from the part of the plant other than the radicle and are called adventitious root. The main function of the root system are the absorption of water and mineral from the soil, providing a proper anchorage to the plant part, storing reserve food material, and synthesis of plant growth regulator. Regions of roots. The root is covered at the apex by a thimble-like structure called the root cap. It protects the tender apex of the root as it makes its way through the soil. A few millimeters above the root cap is the region of meristematic activity. The cells of this region are very small, thin-walled, and with dense cytoplasm. They divide repeatedly. The cells proximal to this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for the growth of the root in length. This region is also called region of elongation. The cells of elongation zone gradually differentiate and mature. Hence, this zone proximal to the region of elongation is called the region of maturation. For this region, some epidermal cells form very fine and delicate thread-like structure called root hair. These root hair absorb water and mineral from the soil. The stem. What are the features that distinguish a stem from a root? The stem is the ascending part of the axis bearing branches, leaves, flower, and fruits. It develops from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed. The stem bears a node and internode. The region of the stem where the leaves are born are called nodes, while internode are the portion between the two nodes. The stem bears buds which may be terminal or axial. The stem is generally green when young and later often become woody and dark brown. The main function of the stem is spreading out branches bearing leaves, flower, and fruits. It conducts water, mineral, and photosynthesis. Some stems perform the function of storage of food, support, protection, and of vegetative propagation. The leaf. The leaf is the lateral, generally flattened structure borne on the stem. It develops at the node and bears a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develop into a branch. Leaves originate from the pseudapical meristem and are arranged in acrobital order. They are the most important vegetative organ for photosynthesis. A typical leaf consists of three main parts: the leaf base, petiole, and lamina. The leaf is attached to the stem by the leaf base and may bear two lateral small leaf-like structures called stipule. In monocotyledons, The leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In some leguminous plants, the leaf base may become swollen, which is called fulvinous. The petiole hold the blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petiole allow leaf blade to flutter in wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh water to the leaf surface. The lamina or leaf blade is the green expanded part of the leaf with vein and veinlet. There is usually a middle prominent vein which is known as midrib. Vein provide rigidity to the leaf blade and act as channel for transport of water, mineral and food material. The shape, margin, apex, surface and extent of incision of lamina varies indifferently. Venation. The arrangement of vein and the veinlet in the lamina of leaf is termed as venation. When the veinlet form a network, the venation is termed as reticulate. When the veins parallel drawn to each other, when the vein drawn parallel to each other within a lamina, the venation is termed as parallel. Leaf of dicotyledon plant generally possess reticulate venation, while the parallel venation is the characteristic of monocotyledons. Type of leaves. A leaf is said to be simple when its lamina is entire or when incised. The incision do not touch the midrib. When the incision of the lamina reaches up to the midrib, breaking into a number of leaflets, the leaf is called compound. A bud is present in the axil of petiole, both compound and simple leaf, but not in the axil of the leaflet of the compound leaf. The compound leaf may be of two types: a pinnately compound leaf. A number of leaflets are present on a common axis, the rachis, which represent the midrib of the leaf as in neem. In the plumlet leaf, the leaflets are attached at a common point, that is, at the tip of the petiole, as in silk cutter. Phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is the pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or branch. This is usually of three types: alternate, opposite and whorled. In alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at the each node in alternate manner, as in China rose, mustard, sunflower. In opposite type, a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in calotropis and guava plant. If more than two leaves arise at a node and form a whorl, it is called whorled, as in Alstonia. The inflorescence. A flower is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristome changes into floral. Meristome interne do not elongate and the axis get condensed. The apex produce different kind of floral appendages laterally at successive node instead of leaves. When a shoot tip is transformed into a flower, it is always solitary. The arrangement of flower on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. Depending on whether the apex gets developed into a flower or continues to grow, two major types of inflorescence are defined: racemose and cymose. In racemose type of inflorescence, the main axis continue to grow. The flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession. In cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates in a flower, hence is limited in growth. The flowers are borne in basipetal order. The flower is the reproductive unit in the angiosperm. It means for sexual reproduction. A typical flower has four different kinds of holes arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel called thalamus or receptacle. These are calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Calyx and corolla are accessory organ, while the androecium and gynoecium are the reproductive organ. In some flowering plant lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and are termed as perianth. When a flower has both androecium gynoecium, it is bisexual. A flower having either only stamen or only carpel is unisexual. In symmetry, the flower may be actinomorphic radial symmetry or zygomorphic bilateral symmetry. When a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through a center, it is said to be actinomorphic. Example, mustard, dhatura, chili. When it can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular vertical plane, it is zygomorphic, as in pea, gulmohar, bean, cassia. A flower is asymmetric irregular if it cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane passing through the center, as in canna. A flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous when the floral appendages are in multiply of 3, 4 or 5 respectively. Flower with bracts reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel are called bracteate, and those without bract eubracteate. Based on the position of calyx, corolla and androecium in respect of the ovary on thalamus, the flowers are described as hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. In hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupy at the highest position while other parts are situated below it. The ovary in such flower are said to be superior. Example, mustard, China rose and brinjal. If gynoecium is situated in the center and other part of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level, it is called the perigynous. The ovary here is said to be half inferior. Example, plum, rose, peach. In epigynous flower, the margin of the thalamus grow upward, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. The other part of the flower arises above the ovary. Hence, the ovary is said to be inferior, as in flower of guava, cucumber, and the ray floret of sunflower. Parts of a flower. Each flower normally has 4 floral holes. Example, visa, calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Calyx is the outermost hole of the flower, and the members are called sepals. Generally, sepals are green, leaf-like, and protect the flower in bud stage. The calyx may be gamosepalous, sepals united, or polysepalous, sepals free. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. Like calyx, corolla may also be gamopetalous, petals united, or polypetalous, petals free. The shape and color of the corolla vary greatly in plant. Corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped, and wheel-shaped. Estivation. The mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud with respect to the outer membrane of the same hole is known as estivation. The main type of estivation are valvate, twisted, imbricate, and vexillary. When sepal or petal in a hole just touch one another at the margin without overlapping, as in calotropis, it is said to be valvate. If one margin of the appendage overlap that of the next one and so on, as in China rose, ladyfinger, cotton, it is said to be twisted. If the margin of sepals or petal overlap one another but not in any particular direction, as in cassia and gulmohar, the estivation is said to be imbricate. In pea and bean flower, there are 5 petals. The largest standard overlap the 2 lateral petal wings, which in turn overlap the 2 smallest anterior petal keel. This type of estivation is known as vexillary or papilionocy. Androecium. Androecium is composed of a stamen. Each stamen, which represents the male reproductive organ, consists of a stalk or a filament and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has two chambers. The pollen sac. The pollen grain are produced in pollen sac. A sterile stamen is called staminode. Stamens of a flower may be united with other members such as petal or among themselves. The stamen are attached to the petal. They are epipetalous as in brinjal, epiphyllous when the stamen attached to the perianth as in the flower of lily. The stamen in a flower may either be remain free polyandrous or may be united in varying degree. The stamen may be united into one bunch or one bundle monoadelphous as in Cynaros or two bundle diadelphous as in pea or into more than two bundle polyandrous as in citrus. There may be a variation in the length of a filament within a flower as in salvia and mustard. Gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower and is made up of one or more carpel. A carpel consists of three parts, namely stigma, style, and ovary. Ovary is the enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube. The style connects the ovary to the stigma. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is the receptive surface of the pollen. Each ovary bears one or more ovule attached to the flattened or cushion-like placenta. When more than one carpel is present, they may be free as in lotus and rose and are called apocarpus. They are termed syncarpus when the carpels are fused as in mustard and tomato. After fertilization, the ovule develop into seed and the ovary develop into a fruit. Placentation. The arrangement of a flower within a ovary is known as placentation. The placenta are of different types, namely marginal, axial, parietal, basal, central, and free central. In marginal placentation, the placenta form a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary, and the ovule are borne on this ridge, forming two rows as in P. When the placenta in axial and overlap and ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary, the placenta is said to be axial, as in Cynaros, tomato, and lemon. In parietal placentation, the ovule develop on the inner wall of the ovary or on peripheral part. Ovary is one-chambered, but it becomes two-chambered due to the formation of the false septum, as in mustard and antimony. When the ovules are borne on the central axis and septa are absent, as in dianthus and primrose, the placentation is called free central. In basal placentation, the placenta develops at the base of the ovary and a single ovule attached to it, as in sunflower and marigold. The fruit. The fruit is a characteristic feature of the flowering plant. It is a mature or ripened ovary developed after fertilization. If the fruit is formed without fertilization of the ovary, it is called parthenographic fruit. Generally, the fruit consists of a wall or pericarp and seed. The pericarp may be dry or fleshy. When the pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into outer epicarp, middle mesocarp, and inner endocarp. In mango and coconut, the fruit is known as drupe. They develop from the monocarpellary superior ovary and are one-seeded. In mango, the pericarp is well differentiated into an outer thin epicarp, a middle fleshy edible mesocarp, and an inner stony hard endocarp. In coconut, which is also a drupe, the mesocarp is fibrous. The seed. The ovule after fertilization develop into a seed. A seed is made up of a seed coat and an embryo. The embryo is made up of an radicle and embryonal axis and one as in wheat and maize, or two cotyledon as in gram and pea. The structure of a dicotyledonous seed. The outermost covering of a seed is the seed coat. The seed coat has two layers, the outer testa and inner tegmen. The hilum is a scar present on the seed coat through which the developing seed were attached to the fruit. Above the hilum is a small pore called micropyle. Within the seed coat is the embryo consists of an embryonal legs and two cotyledons. The cotyledons are often fleshy and full of reserved food material. At the two ends of the embryonal axis are present the radicle and the plumule. In some seeds, such as castor, the endosperm form as a result of double fertilization is the food storing tissue and called endospermic seed. In plants such as bean, gram and pea, endosperm is not present in mature seed and such seeds are called non-endospermous. Structure of a monocotyledonous seed. Generally, monocotyledonous seed are endospermic, but some, as in orchid, are non-endospermic. In the seed of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the food, while the endosperm is bulky and store food. The outer covering of the endosperm separates the embryo by a proteinaceous layer called Ehlerian layer. The embryo is small and situated in a group at one end of the endosperm. It consists of one large and shield-shaped cotyledon known as scutellum and a short axis with a plumule and a radicle. The plumule and the radicle are enclosed in a sheath which are called coleoptile and coleorhiza respectively. Semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. Various morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. The description has to be brief in a simple and scientific language and present in a proper sequence. The plant is described belonging with its habit, vegetative character, root, stem and leaf, and then floral character, inflorescence and floral part. After describing various parts of plant, a floral diagram and a floral formula are represented. The floral formula is represented by some symbol. In the floral formula, PR stands for bracteate, K stands for calyx, C stands for corolla. P stands for perianth, A stands for androecium, G stands for gynoecium, G bar for superior ovary and G upper bar for inferior ovary. O, this is for male, this is for female, this is for bisexual plant and this is for actinomorphic plant. This is for superior ovary, this is for inferior ovary, this is for male, this is for female, this is for bisexual, this is for actinomorphic. And this is for zygomorphic nature of flower. Fusion is indicated by enclosing the figure with bract and the adhesion by a line drawn above the symbol of the floral part. A floral diagram provides information about the number of parts of a flower, their arrangement and the relation they have with one another. The position of mother axis with respect to the flower is represented by a dot on the top of the floral diagram. Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium are drawn in successive whole. Calyx bring the outermost and the gynoecium bring in the central. Floral formula also show cohesion and adhesion within part of whole and between whole. The floral diagram and floral formula are represented in figure 5.16 represent the mustard plant family Brassicaceae. This is the mustard family or Brassicaceae family का floral diagram. Solanaceae. It is the large family commonly called as potato family. It is widely distributed in tropic, subtropic and even temperate zone. Vegetative character plant, mostly herb, shrub and rarely small leaf stem, herbaceous, rarely woody, aerial, erect, cylindrical, branched, solid or hollow, hairy or globerous. Underground stem in potato, Solanum tuberosum. Leaf alternate, simple, rarely pinnately compound, axistipulate, Venus and reticulate. This is again an example of Makai plant. इसका scientific name है Solanum nigrum plant. Floral character inflorescence solitary, axial, axillary or cymose in Solanum. Flower bisexual, actinomorphic, calyx, sepal 5 united, persistent and valvate estivation, corolla, petal 5 united and valvate estivation, androecium, stamen 5, epipetalous, gynoecium, bicarpellary, obligated placed, syncarpous, ovary superior, bilocular, placenta swollen with many ovule, axil, fruit, berry or capsule, seed, many endospermous, floral formula, actinomorphic, bisexual, calyx 5 fused, corolla 5 fused, androecium 5 and adhesion androecium attached with corolla, superior ovary 2 fused. Economic importance. Many plants belonging to this family as a source of food: tomato, brinjal, potato, spicy chili, medicine belladonna, ashwagandha, fumitory tobacco, ornamental petunia. इधर दो फैमिली नहीं है, लिलिएसी एंड फैबिएसी. एंड रूट मॉडिफिकेशन, शूट मॉडिफिकेशन ये सब भी नहीं है. दिस इज न्यू एनसीईआरटी पैटर्न. Summary. The flowering plant exhibit numerous variation in shape, size, structure, mode of nutrition, lifespan, habitat. They have well developed root and shoot system. Root system is either taproot or fibrous. Generally dicotyledonous plant have a taproot while monocotyledonous plant have fibrous root. The root in some plant get modified to store food, mechanical support and respiration. The shoot system is differentiated into stem, leaf, flower and fruit. The morphological feature of stem, like the presence of node and internode, multicellular hair or positively phototrophic nature, help to differentiate the stem from root. Leaf is a lateral outgrowth of the stem, developed exogenously at the node. These are green in color to perform the function of photosynthesis. Leaves exhibit marked variation in their shape, size, margin, apex and extent of incision on the leaf blade lamina. The flower is the modified shoot meant for sexual reproduction. The flower are generally differentiated in different type of inflorescences. They exhibit numerous variation in structure, symmetry, position of the ovary in relation to the other part, arrangement of petals, sepal, ovule, etc. After fertilization, the ovary is modified into fruit, the ovule into seeds. Seeds either may be monocotyledonous or dicotyledonous. They vary in shape, size and period of viability. The floral characteristic from the basis of classification and identification of the flowering plant. This can be illustrated through semi-technical description of family. Hence, a flowering plant is described in a definite sequence by using scientific term, and the floral feature is represented in the summarized form as in floral diagram and floral form. The floral features are represented in a summarized form of a floral diagram and a floral formula. This is the exercise. If you want, then I tell all question answers exercise ka. Thank you very much and most welcome.